does that look? Okay, we'll just do... Come on. Hey, it's working. Okay, cool. Thank you, I've been told that by a few people. Alright, that is probably a birdie and not actually applicable. We'll just kind of zoom in and avoid that. Alright, what are we looking at here? Vega. Well, Vega's above anyways. Alright, this should be live. Let's see, what's actually nearby? Ooh, what's directly overhead? What's that? It's just a star. Okay. I see how it is. Oh. That's probably a Starlink or something. Yeah, Starlink. To be expected. Change. The display. I always kind of like dots, just for the aesthetic, but it's not as helpful. Simple curve. Yeah, same with that one. Kind of nice. But I think we're gonna do dynamic gradient because actually not dynamic gradient, it's a solid gradient. What's static gradient? Oh, static gradient. There we go. And we'll go from there. Is that another Starlink going by? It most certainly is. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of Starlinks flying over. That shouldn't... Yeah, it's another Starlink. Yeah, it seems like every satellite flying over is a Starlink. Oh well. It is what it is. But yeah, anyways, welcome to the stream. This is just a simple radio astronomy stream. I'll probably do this for an hour or so, I don't know. We're just going to scan the hydrogen line and look for aliens, which we're not going to find any, but it never hurts to check. Now, my actual radio telescope currently isn't set up, so what I'm doing is I have some reflectors just on the ground, kind of aimed at a receiver. So it's incredibly crappy, but it's better than nothing. But we also have this lovely live view of what's going on overhead. Well, this is a program, but it should be synced up to real life, yeah. So it's a rough approximation of what's going on. So we will go from there. Yeah, there's a lot of Starlink flying overhead. It's kind of depressing. But this is what we get. I'm not a huge fan of mega constellations. I mean, I get what they want to do, but this is unreasonable. Like, you ever tried to do astrophotography with things flying overhead? It's the worst. Oh well. I mean, I'm inside right now. I'm just using radio. But somewhere there is a photographer trying to get pictures of a cluster or a nebula and having to deal with Starlink and other satellites just, cramping their style. It is what it is. Percentage of satellites that are Starlink. I don't know. Starlink, when it's fully deployed, will pretty much, I think, double the satellites. So a good chunk of them are like that you see are Starlink now. Then you also have OneWeb's doing the same thing. So we're gonna get a bunch of just this. So things will happen. I do appreciate that, like at least Starlink, they kind of want to like figure out how to make their satellites less visible. Being lower orbits kind of helps because they have less right like they're behind the Earth's horizon more like for longer, so you have less periods of reflectivity, but still. And there's that one company that wants to like launch that one satellite that unfolds into a massive like phased array kind of situation, and it'll basically be a giant billboard in space. Well, I mean, it won't be an actual billboard, but it'll be the brightest object orbiting the Earth next to the moon, and it's like, that's not nice, but okay. Although whenever I see massive satellite projects like that, I always think all it takes is a little bit of debris, and that's gonna be broken up. I think oh, I forgot what they were called, but the Soviet Union launched a bunch of giant mirrors into space to try to do like solar redirect experiments. The idea was, you can increase sunlight in certain areas if you want to have like little artificial space lights, but that never panned out. They only ever did small scale tests and then gave up on it. Some of the footage is pretty cool though. You have these massive unfolding mylar sails. They were basically solar sails, but they weren't going anywhere. Hmm. Ba-ba-ba-ba. Foxhead what? Foxhead cluster. Cygnus. So the Milky Way is running right through there. So that's good. Oh, look at that. Okay, cool. My computer's telling me the air outside is polluted. That is lovely. Thank you for that, computer. There's a reason why I'm inside right now and not outside. That always happens around August. You get forest fires, and then it gets really hot here, and then the air quality outside just sucks, and it makes me very upset. What are you? Another Starlink. What are you? Ooh, an Iridium satellite. Cool. I wonder if that's one of the new ones that like they're not bright anymore. I remember I used to watch Iridium flares, which were like the Iridium satellites would go overhead and they'd make really bright flares, and they were cool. But they don't do that anymore because the new ones aren't ultra reflective. Or they don't have the massive panels that reflect. So the Iridium satellites are now silently doing their thing. And these are all just Starlink. God damn it. How's the waterfall looking? Absolutely nothing going on. Yeah, I don't think my current setup could even really detect the Milky Way right now. It's pretty bad. I just need to finish up like the feed horn assembly for the radio telescope, and I can get the dish set up, and that'll actually be a proper telescope and can do proper hydrogen line observation. And once I get the other two set up, I'll have the full array, and that'll be fun. Fun for me and anyone else who cares about radio astronomy. Nerd fun. Hey, Deneb is here. What a star. That was the star in, Star Trek Next Generation, the pilot episode, Encounter at Farpoint. Yeah, the planet they were on was around that star. Deneb 4. A lot of Starlinks. Oh, my cat's here. Hey, Jimmy. No, you cannot have that. Let's put that over here so you can't have that. Yes. Well then. This is exciting. What are you? That is... Oh, alright. You know, having this, little star map here is kind of fun, because we can at least watch satellites going overhead. If nothing else. Oh, I see my... This is a neat little program. I don't use it very often, but I got it specifically for astronomy, and it's cool. But I guess that's kind of what it's used for. I guess grid. Show meteor showers. Toggle meteor showers. Exoplanets. Oh, hey, Altair. Nice. Blinking planetary nebula. It's kind of fun having Vega kind of nearby here, because that was the star from Contact that the message came from. More Starlink, another Starlink. So it's kind of poignant to what we're doing right now, to have Vega just overhead. More Starlink. Welcome to the chat. Yep. Yeah, I have the live chat on my phone. I'm fairly certain it's updating, so yeah. This chair is not terribly comfortable. I need to get a new one. Because life is what it is. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's just a birdie. A little errant signal. It's not actually, it's not real. But yeah, we're looking at the hydrogen line right now. This is the frequency at which neutral hydrogen emits radio waves naturally. It's kind of seen as like, if you were an intelligent species and you wanted to transmit a signal across space, you would use this frequency, because any other species in the galaxy that has radio astronomy would know about it. Because when trying to transmit a signal, you think, what frequency do you transmit on? And it's like, on Earth, our frequencies are all arbitrary. Like, these are numbers, they don't mean much. So you have to use a frequency that's based in, like, chemical and material science. And the hydrogen line, 1420 megahertz, is the go-to for that. So if you ever hear prime numbers on the hydrogen line, you know you've got something. Currently, we are hearing nothing on the hydrogen line. But we're seeing a lot of Starlinks flying overhead. Oh boy, who doesn't love Starlink? There are 7 viewers in chat. That's exciting. I mean, considering this is a very boring stream, I'm surprised I have more than 5. But, oh well, it is what it is. Although going off the joke in chat there, I'm fairly certain some people do watch my videos and stuff just for my voice, and it's like, alright. I don't mind, but it's like, alright. More Starlink? What are you? Another oh, it's another Starlink, okay. Yeah, just lots of Starlink flying overhead. And again, there's always 1, or 2, or 1,000. Actually, how many Starlink are even in space right now? Like, they launch them frequently, but they also deorbit frequently, so I'm not sure. And they use krypton thrusters? Yeah. I'm trying to think, was it Starlink that wanted originally to use mercury in their thrusters, but then they were told not to because that would be no, it wasn't Starlink specifically, but it was just like the idea of using mercury and ion thrusters, but that, like, especially with Starlink having so many of them burning up in the atmosphere, that would have over time actually put a fair bit of just free mercury into the atmosphere. So it's a good thing they went with krypton instead of mercury. Actually, I think mercury thrusters went out of favor a long time ago. Cause like some of the first ion thrusters were mercury based, like in the 60s and 70s when they were testing them, but they stopped doing that. I think a lot of them use like argon or neon, but some use krypton because it's cheaper. I remember watching the 1970 or 1957 Disney documentary Mars and Beyond when they were talking about the umbrella ship, the nuclear electric Stutenlinger umbrella ship, and the engine was an ion drive, but it was like an electrical grid of platinum is used to ionize the element cesium, and it's like, ugh, the amount of cesium it would have to use per ship was like thousands. It was like, oh, what was it? It might have been like hundreds of tons. Either way, it was a lot of cesium, and cesium is incredibly toxic. So that would have been bad news bears. Hey, a radar satellite. NORAD. Actually, who owns this? I don't know if anyone... Alright. Either way, it's not Starlink. Oh, here we go. After a quick Google, there are apparently around 2,200 currently in orbit. Oh, thank you. See, so there are at least 2,000, so that's more than 1,000. It's actually less than I thought. Interesting. What have you here? Oh, Globestar. Nice, nice. It's like we're looking for aliens, but we're actually just looking at satellites because that's interesting. Well, I find it interesting. I think satellites are cool. Yeah, I was gonna do like a meteor stream, but those are better done in the morning, when the Earth is, well, like when my area of the Earth is like in the oncoming path of debris. Since it's the evening, I'm on the opposite side, so there's gonna be less things burning up. So we're just gonna scan the hydrogen line and look for whatever, because you never know. Besides, streams are a way to let me talk to myself without actually looking insane. I think that's what space engine's for too, I guess. It's content. Let's see here. What do we have right above us? Who's this star? Oh, it's just a star. Do we have any known like stars that I know about in our current little range here? Well, not really. Vega is slowly getting away from us. But that is because, well, the Earth is rotating, so stars move. Who's this? HIP 95524. Yeah, I'm not a star catalog. I don't know all of these. However, this one is coming up. Starlink. Yeah, okay, it's not zooming that far. I mean, realistically, we're seeing a huge swath here, and oh, more people are on the chat. Good time. Find your love. Oh, it's spam. Lovely. I'm going to... Yeah, I'll report that user. Sure, for spam. Imagine going into a stream that has 6 people in it and spamming. I just imagine that. I guess this counts as engagement. Yeah, I suppose. It's like I'll post a video and I'll get like one of the like same kind of spam bot where it's like, you know, click here to find women and blah 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 all that stuff. And it's like, does anyone actually click on those? I don't think they do, but somebody has to at least once for those to be viable. And I just think about it, man, that would just that would be disappointing. Like, I just imagine like scrolling through the YouTube comments and you see an obvious fake comment asking you to click here for Bitcoin or women or something, and you just think, yeah, that seems like a good idea, and then you have your identity stolen and sold in the black market or something. Or worse, your kidneys. Oh well. It is what it is. Yeah, it's funny. Oh man, like some of the spam that I get in my inbox. Okay, the funniest thing, and I find this hilarious, is whenever people are like, "Oh, AI is gonna take over the world," I'm always like, the targeted AI advertising systems on Google and all that keep trying to sell me weight loss products, and I am horrifically underweight. Like I am anorexic underweight. So the fact that the AI keeps thinking that I want to lose weight, it's like, yeah, no, AI isn't taking over the world anytime soon. It's like, I don't want your weight loss supplements actually, but thanks for asking, suspicious user. Or I had one a couple days ago. It was actually really funny. Oh, what was the subject on it? It was an email. And it was like, oh right, it was a fake post thing where it's like, you have a post or a postage that needs to be picked up. Please click here to pay. But whoever made it did a really, really, really bad job because instead of sending it to multiple emails, like isolated individually, they just did a group send. So in the like, from to like the information, it had like a list of, oh man, it was just a wall text of email accounts. And it's like, yeah, that is so obviously fake. It was actually comedic how poorly that scam was put together. But I'm sure somebody still clicked on it because that's the world we live in. How's the IF window doing? It's not doing much. Well, then again, there's nothing here going on. When I have the proper telescope set up, and like it's looking at the hydrogen line, this RF window, if you like time lapse it, you'll see it's kind of slowly spike up and then come back down as the galaxy moves overhead. That's interesting. Oh, there's a lot of Starlinks flying over right now. There's 2. Got Starlink 3265 and Starlink 2210. Fun times ahead. Oh yeah, the click arrow to continue or click allow to continue. Those are annoying. Yeah, actually, I always think about that. Like, if you click, if you're if you click on it, and they'll think, oh, we can get him. That's why I'm usually pretty cautious to not click on emails. Because it's like, no. But, like, with that one, the information I could see was it was there. It was like two, and it was like some other guy's email, and I was like, what? So I opened it up in the inspector and looked through it, and it was like, yeah, no, that's not it. Yeah, I should probably get an extension. Like, I have a bunch of words in my email inbox just hidden, but it still happens. More Starlink flying overhead. Or I like when I get emails from banks I'm not a part of. It'd be like, your account is frozen, and it's like, thank you, TD. I don't actually have an account with you, but that's good to know. Hole in a cluster. Man, there's a lot of Starlink. Since last time I used this program, it's a lot more Starlink. It's interesting. Oh, I should have set up like a playlist of just like music to have in the background. I forgot to do that. Oh well. We have the smooth jazz of galactic background noise. Although we're on wide frame or wide FM. Has to do AM and all that. But well, wide FM's pretty clear. Actually, it doesn't really matter what we're looking at specifically because everything will show up here. So this just denotes what we'll hear, whereas this actually shows what all is being detected. So it's not really needed. Yeah, RTL SDR. That's what I'm using right now. It's awesome. I have all the parts for the most part set up for my radio telescope. I even have a like dedicated computer. It's a little like desk computer that's gonna process everything, and a little Raspberry Pi which is gonna like for remote sensor stuff. But I need to actually get it all set up, and I will one of these days. The dish is currently still sitting in its box in my hallway. It's well, it's in pieces right now because it's a 6 foot wide dish, so it wouldn't fit in the hallway if it was not in pieces. And once it's set up, I can start working on the parts for the next dish, and then the next dish, and I'll have the three of them. And from there I can just figure out what to do. Yep, good old 21 centimeter line. That's what we're currently looking at. Boop, 1420. Oh, this is in gigahertz, but it's still, it's 1420 megahertz, 1.4 gigahertz. We have a swarm flying overhead right now. Starlink, 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 and Starlink. And what's this? Probably a Starlink. And oh look, it's gonna be a Starlink. Yeah. No matter where you go, no matter what you see, Elon Musk is in space watching you. Actually, knowing him, I'll probably be like, give preferential treatment to things like eHarmony or something. uh, that joke is funny in my head, trust me. East Vale Nebula. Does that say Mothra? No, it does say Mothra. It's the Mothra cluster. Okay. It's like, oh, cool, Mothra's overhead, but now it's just the Mothra Nebula. What's this Starlink? 3288. Oh boy. 2. But yeah, actually, when I get the telescope set up, this setup I have currently up right now with, Stellarium, the IF window, and this whole gizmos will be actually live streamed just 24/7 on my Twitch channel, which I used to. I think I streamed on it once, years and years and years ago, and then never used it, so I repurposed it to be the radio telescope channel. And it'll just have 24/7 SETI observations and monitoring the hydrogen line. So anyone can tune in on that. But I need to get it set up. So this is kind of a dry run of that, where it's just like, this is a live stream of us looking at nothing and listening to nothing and hearing me talk about scammers in my inbox. Oh boy, more Starlink. Zoom out a bit. Actually, one of my friends over at the local observatory, he works for the university. When I was first working on this project, I was asking about some various things because they have a radio telescope there, kind of a small one. And oh, it was, but I changed it right now. Don't worry, I will post it in like the YouTube channel when I get it set up. So don't worry about that. Right now it's inactive, not much going on. Anyways, and I was talking to my friend there, and I was like, yeah, I just want to do a zenith telescope that just does straight up because that's easy. And he was like, well, you could get stepper motors and make it steerable. And I was like, that could be fun. But my thing is, if you have a steerable radio telescope, you will want to point at specific things. And then you're asking yourself, well, how do I know what to look for? Or what do I look at? And because this is just a 24/7 like SETI telescope, I don't want it to just like have to worry about what am I going to be observing today or whatever. So I decided to make it a zenith telescope, so it's just aiming straight up, kind of like the Big Ear radio telescope, and it will just sweep the sky as the Earth moves, because then it's but there's no bias of what we're looking at. It's just whatever's overhead. And then you can pair that with other amateur radio telescopes, and hopefully eventually we can get full sky 24/7 coverage of like SETI observations. There's actually a project run by SETI, they're like a version of SETI. It's called like Project Argus or something like that, where they want to like make a network of amateur radio astronomers and just have everybody's telescopes operating and looking at various places to try to get full sky SETI coverage using just backyard astronomers. So yeah, that's one of the goals of this project. Is I want to have like a really big and fairly sensitive radio telescope array that's like, it's owned and operated just by a random Canadian. And I want it to kind of like inspire other people to do similar projects, because the more radio telescopes we have that are just doing dedicated SETI observations, the more likely we're going to find something. And a lot of people who do, like a lot of radio telescopes, in fact all of them, they're not really dedicated, at least they're not on all the time. Like they're usually, like SETI is usually allocated for certain observations towards certain points. So the more people we have doing these observations in the more places, the better the chances. So what I'm trying to do here with this whole project is try to inspire others to do the same. Because that's just fun. Astronomy is fun. My dad actually owns an observatory out west. No, out east from here, actually. It's a small one, mind you. It's an actual observatory, and he wants me to build a radio telescope out there with him too at some point, which I want to. My problem is I can't really drive long distance right now, because of my brain is not the best. Yeah, I'm recovering from agoraphobia, like really, really, really bad agoraphobia, and I still have trouble in cars, but I'll get there eventually. I recently figured out a bunch of my health problems, which makes the prospect of long-distance travel much more tenable. So once I do that, I can set up a radio telescope out there at his observatory as well, and that'll mean that I'll own 2 radio telescopes in separate locations. That's kind of cool. Although this one here is going to be my primary one, because once I get like the 3 dishes, I might actually get it set up at the local observatory, because they allow student and like community projects to be set up there as long as it's like science related. And that'll be great. And once if I do have it set up there, then that's when I use the Raspberry Pi, because the Raspberry Pi is going to act as like a server node, basically, where it just basically it collects the data and runs a RTL server that I can then access remotely via the internet. It just makes things easier. Because that observatory is like, what, 60 kilometers away? So it's like, yeah, I'll just set up a remote data point and just use the internet. Because why not? Cooling tower cluster. Northern Coalsack. Deneb is getting closer to zenith. Gotta love it. And the Iris Nebula. And the Funnel Cloud Nebula. I wish I had a better optical telescope. I actually had a dream last night that I bought a new telescope. That kind of gives you an idea of what kind of nerd I am. Because the one I currently have is absolute garbage. It's a tiny little refractor I got from Walmart years ago. The best I can do is look at the moon. Beyond that, it sucks. My asthma's acting up a little bit. Okay, let's see. What do we currently have? Blinking planetary nebula. Cygni. Alright. There's very few X-like systems that I know off the top of my head. And they're never overhead. I would love to do observations of Tau SETI, but I'm pretty sure that's Southern Hemisphere, so I can't get it. And that makes me upset. But I can observe Vega. That's fun. Although, actually, it was even stated in Contact that it was unlikely because Vega is it has a very large debris disk, so you wouldn't find any like planets there that are hospitable to life because of just the amount of debris in that system. Which I guess Tau SETI is also in that category because it has 2 large asteroid belts, but it also has a lot of planets that probably do a lot of like debris clearing. So the planets in the Tau SETI system might be more prone to impacts than Earth, but I still have a good feeling about it. K-type yellow dwarf. K-type orange dwarf, excuse me. With terrestrial planets, debris disks. It's great. I'm a huge fan of Tau SETI. Mothra. There's a Starlink that flew by Mothra. Yeah. Cygnus star cloud. Welcome to the SETI stream, where we're looking for Starlink satellites. That one went right through zenith. Interesting. Oh, it's that. Corvus BC-1. It's sunlit. Who built that one? I wish it kind of gave me more information, but I guess it's just designation. I haven't seen a Cosmos satellite yet, which they used to be fairly common to pick up. Those were Russian. We got two tandem friends here. It's a Starlink. Oh. I wonder if that's Starlinks that are like like you have the main and you have the main one and the redundant one. So if one breaks down, they can just move in. I don't know. I could be wrong there. That's the vibe it gave me. Let's do that. All right. Now let's put Vega a little more there. Okay, there we go. NOS 33R. Interesting. Hello, Adam, and welcome. As you can tell, this is a very exciting stream where we just stare at numbers on a screen. Oh yeah, Astro Digital. Alright. Cool. Yeah, I could like actually look these up on my phone, but my phone's currently opened up to chat, so I can read chat, so I appreciate the help there. Want more Starlink? Oh, that's not a Starlink. Hey, OneWeb! We found one. Web. That was funny. Man, that was faint. The kite cluster. Okay. Yep. That's gonna be a Starlink, isn't it? Yeah, of course it is. It's always something. I like how the blinking planetary nebula is pretty much just right over Zenith. You are Norsat. Good to know. And you are another OneWeb. Okay, so I'm kind of seeing the orbital pattern there. That's Norsat again. Thank you for that. That's Starlink. That's going to be Lemur 2. Ooh. Let me just get this back up. There we go. Today the sky's pretty clear. Just like yours. Not, yeah. See, mine isn't even a tiny Dobsonian. Like, even a tiny Dobsonian is better than what I have. Mine's a crappy reflector, or refractor. The thing is with telescopes is, if I got one, it's like, oh, I want to do like planetary observations, like, you know, Saturn, Jupiter, and Uranus, and all that. But it's like your telescopes are kind of built for specific jobs. It's like, you know, you can have like deep sky telescopes and then planetary telescopes. So I'd have to get like both if I wanted to do both. And it's like, I guess. I don't want help. I don't want help. I want to know what this is. The Fireworks Galaxy. Interesting. I wonder if I can find the Sombrero Galaxy. Here, we'll just move off Zenith for a second, 'cause I'm going to look for something. I don't actually know if there are any galaxies of terrible interest. I know I can see Andromeda sometimes. I've seen it. It's cool. Actually, with that in mind, alright. Sagittarius, the moon, Cassiopeia, Draco, fantastic. Ursa Major, Buddhist, Arcturus, what a great, I love that word. Like, it's such a great name. Butterflies, I guess not. Oh, wait a minute, there you are. Andromeda. Oh yeah, and the Perseids. Interesting. Anyways, back up to Zenith, where we belong. Because that's technically what the telescope, or what the little, I guess, antenna right now is looking at. Uriah Nebula is actually pretty fun to look at. I have pictures that I've taken using just this camera, like, and its zoom function. You can get some, like, you know, nothing detailed, but you can see the fuzziness of it. It's kind of cool. Like, Orion is always very visible where I'm at, so it's like, oh look, Orion. Oh, my shoulder hurts. I was digging a pond this morning, because of course I was. Where did Vega go? Oh, there's Vega. There's Deneb. Right. Let's just do that. That'll work. Actually, a lot of my favorite locales are like Southern Hemisphere. It makes me kind of sad. Like Tau Ceti, Alpha Centauri. I think Barnard Star as well. Could be wrong about that one though. I mean, you can't really see Barnard Star with the, without a really good telescope, but still. OneWeb. Yeah, Vega, exactly. Vega's great. Actually, I should check what part of the sky Gliese 581 is in. Because that was also pretty cool. But I always forget to check. Cygnus. You know, every time I see pictures of, is Webstar 055 an asteroid? No, these things that are flying overhead are satellites. Alpha Centauri is pretty bright. Yeah, I should hope so. It's a large main sequence G-type star and a K-type companion. Which I'm personally a fan of Alpha Centauri B, or Ptolemine, because it's a K-type, and I love K-types. No offense to Rigel Centaurus, which is Alpha Centauri A, but it's a slightly brighter G type. And I like K type stars, man. I like K type stars. What do we have here? More Starlink. At any given moment, you are within 15 meters of a Starlink. Or what was that original thing? It was like 15 or 10 meters of a spider or something. Oh, it was like 10 feet of a spider, I think, I guess. But just seeing so many Starlink, it's like you're always within. There's always a Starlink somewhere. Pulsars. Yeah, pulsars are cool. I actually, I'm trying to think. I think you can pick up pulsars with amateur radio telescopes, but you have to do some specialized like stuff because the frequencies they pulse at is usually like outside the range of a lot of stuff. Could be wrong about that though. I remember I was reading about it, like pulsars a long time ago. I know like the sun and Jupiter, you have to get really low in the frequencies to get signals from them, and you have to have really large receivers. Like you can pick up Jupiter's solar storms by making a large dipole antenna that's like I don't know 6 or 7 feet across or something like that, and really low frequencies. Yeah, hey, if you can set up a telescope to look for pulsars, that would be incredibly cool. I say go for it. Like a lot of amateur astronomers do, well, like Jupiter, like planetary observation, because you can get a lot of interesting sounds from Jupiter, Saturn, and the Sun. And other people do hydrogen line just to observe the galaxy, and I'm doing hydrogen line to look for aliens. But yeah, if you can do pulsar observations, like amateur pulsar, that would be incredibly cool. And I say go for it. I'm trying to think. I can't really think of the names of any pulsars off the top of my head. Their names are all like pretty messed up. I know the first one discovered was OneWeb again was well, it was designated to like ET or LGM1, which was Little Green Men 1, because when they first picked it up, they didn't know if it was natural or artificial, and they were like, "Nah, it's just a spinning neutron star." Does life exist out in our own galaxy? That is a very good question. Uh, I mean, if we're talking microscopic life, then I would say yes, because the chances of life not existing elsewhere is pretty much zero statistically. The chemical, like just the chemical processes of life are found everywhere. We even find like nucleobases of DNA in asteroids, because it's just made naturally in space. But if we're talking complex life, again, I would say yes. Microscopic life probably way outnumbers multicellular, like larger life in the galaxy, I would say. And then if we're talking intelligent life, that's the real question. Again, I would personally say yes, but how much intelligent is that's a question. That's a real question. The Vela pulsar. Yeah, thank you. I mean, like the Drake equation tried to figure this out, but my thing with intelligent life and complex life is you have to look at some of the like the things that led to us being multicellular and intelligent, and one of the major ones was like surplus energy usage. Because back in the day, Earth had microscopic life on it, and it had microscopic life for like billions of years, and then suddenly, sometime after the last snowball Earth period, life became multicellular, and it seems to have coincided with like the symbiosis of mitochondria into cells. Because once these cells had mitochondria in them, producing stuff for them, it really boosted the energy surplus of the cell, and they could do more stuff. So, and that was a freak accident. Like it just kind of happened. So us being intelligent and multicellular was in large part due to mitochondria becoming an organelle within cells as opposed to a free-swimming organism. And so you have to wonder, does that happen frequently, or does stuff like that happen frequently? If not, then the galaxy's probably full of like algae and stuff. But if energy surplus or energy organelles like mitochondria are common, then multicellular life would probably also be common in the galaxy as well. So that's one of those variables I always think about when trying to deduce how common is life in the galaxy. But we will have to wait and see. And if life is uncommon in the galaxy, maybe we should go seed the galaxy with life, because, well, why not? Something to do. Spread things like cyanobacteria around, because that's a good place to start. Your brain enjoyed that speech. Well, I'm glad. I enjoy talking about the prospects of life on other planets and the ramifications of, like, basically the variables of what can make it happen. Because, like, there could be life in our own solar system outside of Earth, like, right now. Yeah, I doubt any of it would be multicellular, but it could be there. Uh, Snowball Earth was the period of, well, there might have been two of them, and it might have been actually not fully. It was basically when Earth completely froze over, or at least mostly froze over. And yeah, at that time, life was just producing was just like oxygen producing, like usually like cyanobacterias and the like. Which is funny because early on, oxygen was a waste product of the respiration of life, and it actually was poisonous to other life. So life almost killed itself by producing too much oxygen until it started to adapt to it. And what was interesting is actually once the atmosphere started becoming oxygen rich, it took longer for concentrations to stabilize because first the oxygen in the atmosphere had to bind with all the free iron that was around and oxidize it. So while life was producing oxygen, the basically the crust of the proto-Earth was pulling it out of the atmosphere just as fast and oxidizing and creating iron oxides. And once most of that oxidation occurred, then oxygen levels were then allowed to start to, build up and kind of stabilize. But for the first little bit there, you just had just tons of oxidation and these compounds, and you have these massive deposits of iron oxide and stuff in the deep crust. It's quite interesting. But yeah, Snowball Earth was it might have also been called Slushball Earth. We don't know for sure. Again, this is all based on geology, but it was a period when the glaciers kind of kept expanding and going and going and going until they may have touched at the equator, and Earth was then just frozen over. Because there's a feedback effect here. Once you have enough ice on a planetary body, the albedo of that planet, as in its reflectivity, is high enough that it reflects more energy out than it gets in. So once enough glaciation happens, the planet will then enter a negative feedback loop where it just gets colder and colder, and more ice. Oh, another spam bot. More ice builds up, and 1 minute. I need to kick this bot. Remove. So more ice builds up, and the more ice that builds up, the higher the reflectivity, and the higher the reflectivity, the more ice that builds up, and it basically just fed back until Earth was locked into a ball of ice, or mostly ice. And yeah, it stayed that way theoretically for a while until like just natural volcanism and stuff produced enough carbon compounds, CO2 and methane, into the atmosphere that the greenhouse effect was able to tip back into favor of warming, which then caused glaciation to recede, which lowered the planet's albedo, allowing for more trapped heat, and then it, yeah. Um, oh, well, the live chat just broke. 1 second. Ah, there we go. Anyways, so yeah, and these cycles took a long, long time. Like I'm talking millions of years for enough carbon to build up from natural processes to warm the planet enough to break free of Snowball Earth. Because volcanic eruptions actually they're interesting because they generally have a net cooling effect because they put so much sulfurous compounds in the air. But yeah, geological history of the planet is quite interesting. But I'm saying "but" a lot, and yeah, mind is scattered. Oh right, I was talking about Snowball Earth and how at the end of Snowball Earth, that's when complex life seems to have arisen. Like colony organisms started popping up, and they formed the first plants, like larger plants. And then you had simple critters that lived in the ocean, and then insects or plants, like simple plants, colonized land first, and then insects colonized land second, and then more complex animals started moving out, and then 3 billion years later, I have to pay taxes. So yeah, always fun. I like how that spam bot was called 69mega.com. It's like, yeah, you're trying a little too hard there. See, this video can be interesting. We're looking for life, not finding it, but I can talk about life. Because I have one. Theoretically. Starlink. Yep. More Starlink. And of course, if we find complex life in the galaxy, I wonder if we'll find crabs. Because, like, the crab is the ultimate form of life here on Earth. Creatures keep independently evolving into crab shape. So it seems that the crab is the pinnacle of evolution. So I always wonder, it's like, are we going to find crabs out in the galaxy? And I sincerely hope so, because crabs are awesome. I hope the live chat is still working. I didn't want to break it. That stupid spam bot. Atmosphere. I can turn on clouds. Oh, I can toggle the atmosphere to make it look more bright. Ooh. It should. Like, all the other live streams have been saved, so this one should. I hope so. Oh, it's a globe star. Wow, I forgot I could turn off the clouds to make, you know, everything more clear. Flock. Nice. Globe star. And that's probably going to be a Starlink. Because, of course it is. Why wouldn't it be? Vega is back up there. It looks like the galaxy is going to be moving into zenith range here. Oh, NOS 3-2. Which, if I had my telescope like the actual proper one set up, as this moved over zenith, we'd be able to see over time an increase and decrease here. But this current antenna is terrible, and it can't even pick up this. So this is largely a waste of time, but it's just fun. So, having a good time. More Globestar. And Deneb is getting close to Zenith. What's currently around Zenith? Star. Star. HIP 98985. Interesting, interesting. I'll zoom in a little bit. There we go. Ah, the galaxy. It's kind of mildly shaped like a Pringle. Like those commercials are actually not terribly incorrect in that assessment. Because the galaxy is kind of warped. Probably from an interaction from another galaxy, but yeah, the disk is kind of warped in a bit of a chip fashion. Which is kind of cool, actually. Our galaxy is not perfectly flat. Right. Can I change the contrast? Oh, that's the zoom. This is contrast. Yeah, no. Maybe I shouldn't be playing with the contrast. Oh, we have IRS P5, CartSat, and MEDOP C flying pretty much overhead. Flock. Actually, satellites don't so much fly as they fall with style. Because they're in an orbit, which is technically falling around the planet. So, bit of a Buzz Lightyear thing there. I'm going to see if I can toss this onto the RTL to try to cool it a bit. Basically heat sink it. Indeed they do. They're falling, but they're moving sideways so fast they just keep missing. So it's falling with style. And then eventually they slow down because of various reasons, and they actually do fall with less style. Unless burning up in the atmosphere is falling with style. I mean, it's stylish. The Fireworks Galaxy. Zoom out. The Swimming Alligator Cluster. What a great name. I just like alligators, they're cool. Alright, what do we have over here? We have Starlink, 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 and let me guess, Starlink. Starlink. Who doesn't need more Starlink? I could do with a little less, but that's just me. Ghost Bush Cluster. Oh, spooky ghost. The Cooling Tower Cluster. The Jewel Bugnet. Vladimir Komarov wouldn't say that. Oh, that's just mean. I was talking satellites. He didn't have to bring up Vladimir Komarov in that. Aw, poor guy. Well, he did his job and he did it well. Yuri Gagarin didn't want him to fly because he was like, "No, man, I'll do it." But the state was like, "No, you're too important. We're sending Komarov." So he kind of knew what he was getting into. Doesn't make it any better, but makes him a bit more brave. At least he didn't feel anything. Like, to be fair, he survived re-entry. It was just the parachutes didn't deploy. Oh, so many Starlinks. Bum bum. Bum bum bum. It's funny, I was watching the SLS, like Artemis 1 streams, and they both scrubbed, which it happens. But the comment section on NASA streams is always such an adventure. Like, it's full of people who are there because they genuinely care and are interested, and you have lively conversation. And you have people who are there because they don't exactly know how they got there, they're just there. And you have the people who are there because they think space is fake and NASA's wrong and it's all CGI and blah blah blah. So reading the live chat is just an absolute adventure. Oh yeah, the interstellar meteor. Yeah, that's A.V. Loeb wants to do that. He's kind of a character. I don't know how I feel about him, but it's probably not positive. But yeah, I'm on board with the idea because although he thinks it's an alien artifact because he for some reason thinks that everything interstellar is alien. He's a weird person, but I support the idea of looking for the asteroid because even if they don't find it, you might find something else, and that's interesting. It's like when people want to try to find Atlantis. I'm always like, you're never gonna find Atlantis. It wasn't real. It was an allegory. But I'll always say, go look for Atlantis because you might find other things in the process of trying to find Atlantis that are just as valuable. So it's like there's value in the search even if you know you're not going to find anything. So, yeah, if they want to find that asteroid, go for it. If they do find pieces of it, that'd be great. That'd be cool. If not, they might find something else of interest. Either way, it might be a net positive, but they're not going to find alien technology. Yeah, he's the same fellow who thinks that Oumuamua was an alien spaceship, and it's like, I'm pretty sure it wasn't. Oh, there's a lot of stuff going on here. Yeah, a lot of great stuff were discovered by accident. In fact, trying to find Atlantis has made a number of archaeological discoveries. They even found missing cities before, like sunken cities. So, just not Atlantis, because Atlantis wasn't real, and it was never meant to be real. It was literally an allegory, a fictional state made up by Plato as an example of the hubris of the state of a state kind of thing. The folly of hubris, I guess. It was never meant to be like, this is a real place. It's like, no, it was a fictional story he made up to make a point. Yeah, penicillin was an accident. Well, yeah, it was a series of things, but then the refinement into an antibiotic was on purpose. But the discovery that the penicillium mold was producing something that was killing bacteria was an accident. A very good accident. Life before antibiotics was terrifying. The past really was the worst. It just was. What, Jimmy? My cat is back. Hello, bud. Hi, you bored? Yeah. What is that? That's another globe star. Yes, Jimmy, I know. My cat's kind of a funny person. Little cat. Yes, I know. In that we call him Jimmy. Like that's his name. Or we call him James, or you there, or little man. But his actual legal name is Jacques Moliere, and that was because when he was at the SPCA, they thought he was female at first, so they called him Molly, and then they were like, nah, he's male, so they changed him to Moliere, and we wanted to call him Jimmy, so we decided to call him Jacques Moliere, so that Jimmy is a kind of a shorthand for his name. So yeah, just calling a cat, it works. Like my other cat is named Circe, and I just call her like I'll just call her woman sometimes. I'll just be like, woman, what do you want? Because she just kind of shows up and is very talkative. I wish I could like ban these spam bots. I can hide the user, but I can't like just ban them completely. They keep coming back. Put them in timeout and report them for spam. No, let's report them for porn just because. And hide user from channel. Like, why isn't there just a ban button? Like, they keep coming back, so clearly the hide user isn't working. And this is a stream with 10 people. What is the point of spamming on a stream full of 10 people? If any of you like click on these links, I'll be very upset. So don't do it. Wait a minute. Oh no, we're good. I was like, where'd Vega go? Vega's kind of my guide star here to see like orientation of the sky. It doesn't matter. Like it could mean any we want. I just like having the grid kind of set up, so I'm using Vega as my guide star. And Deneb. What are you? The Garnet Star. Okay. Yeah, YouTube doesn't care about bots. They just like money. Wouldn't the Garnet be like fish internet? Because of the alligator gar. It's a fish. I'm sorry. I'm actually not sorry. When I tell a joke about fish, I mean it. Different accounts, yeah, probably. Well, I'll just keep hiding them and reporting them. Again, I'll just treat it as engagement. Oh boy, more Starlink. It is 10:34. Interesting. Oh, more Starlink. And, oop. An astronomical calculations window. Oh. That's like direct positions. Cool. I'll play with that later. But not right now. What else is here? What is this? Location. Help. No. Constellation art. Nice. I'm turning that off. It's like, it's cool, but no. I always get Hercules and Orion. My brain wants me to believe they're the same constellation, but they're different. And it's like, alright. Aries. Pisces, the fish. Aquarius. Yeah, I can't see Cetus the whale. That's where Tau SETI is. But I have Ursa Major and Ursa Minor and Draco. Who doesn't love Draco? Dragons are cool. It's like I've been looking into getting a new cane because the current cane that I use for walking is my Jurassic Park cane that I made. That has the amber ball on top with the it's a crane fly that I used, but it looks like the Jurassic Park Hammond cane. But I made it as a prop originally. I didn't intend it to be an actual cane, so I'm always afraid of it breaking or dropping it or whatever. So I want to get a new cane that I'm not afraid of using without it breaking. And I'm trying to figure out what design I want to get, like what style. And I'm torn between getting a simple ball top cane like I currently have, or getting one that has like a metal like dragon head handle and just be really garish about it. And I'm kind of liking the idea of the dragon cane because it's awesome. Actually, what I wanted originally was a cane that was kind of like a rod of Asclepius, where it's like the rod that has a snake coiled around it. But whenever I look those up, I can find them, but they're all like 200-year-old antiques that are collectible and not an actual cane. And it's like, well, what's the point of that? So I might just do a garish snake or dragon topped cane and just be even more weird than I am. Because I dress strangely. I mean, I wear a Greek fisherman's cap whenever I go out. Well, it depends. If it's fair weather, I wear a Greek fisherman's cap. If it's snowing, I wear an Ushanka. And if it's raining, I wear an oilskin cowboy hat. But, yeah, I dress for me. I don't care what people think, so it reasons that my cane should be equally as weird. So I'm thinking a dragon head. But back to space. Starlink. And for the record, I don't need the cane because my joints or muscles don't work. I need it because I sometimes fall because my equilibrium is screwed up. So I need to have a cane because at any moment without warning, my vestibular system will be like, congratulations, we need to visit the floor right now. And it's really annoying. So I like having a cane just in case. Oh, look at that. The galaxy is coming up on zenith. That is fantastic. Once again, I can't see it because my antenna here is awful. My telescope would see it, but I sure can't now. Because there's a lot of hydrogen in the galaxy. Go figure. So on the hydrogen line, the Milky Way, the bulk of it, will always like be visible in the spectrums. Deneb and Vega. Mothra. Lacerda. Interesting. What are you? Oh, it's the granite star again. Fish. That's probably going to be Starlink. Yeah. Pegasus cluster. Okay. Now what? Let's see what's currently. Yeah, there's a few stars. Hey, Iridium! I keep reading it as Aldebaran, but it's like that isn't Aldebaran. That's Alderamin. Aldebaran is different. Ooh, Starlink. Kind of like Altair's here. I'm like, Altair, and it's like, no, that isn't Altair. It's like, this is like bargain bin Aldebaran, and that's bargain bin Altair. That's Altair. Altair proper. Which is also where Forbidden Planet took place. Or on the planet Altair 4. Because who doesn't love science fiction trivia? Yeah, good old Alderaan. My favorite asteroid field. An anime called Alderaan. I mean, probably. The last manga that I read was Shingeki no Kyojin, or Attack on Titan. I started reading that in high school, and then I read it every month for 9 years until it finally finished, like, what, last year? And I am now free of that. Oh, what a trip. It's like, I always say that Hajime Ishiyama is a hack. But I enjoyed it. Like, I enjoyed reading it, but I'm still going to criticize it for the writing. But I enjoyed it, so it did its job. So I'll give it credit for that. I used to be more into anime in high school. Not really that much into it anymore. I mean, I say that, and I still have anime figures on my desk. But I haven't bought one in years. They're just kind of there. Yeah, oh well. High school, what are you gonna do about it? That was a long time ago. I'm almost 30, I can get away with things. Actually, I turned 29 in a few days, on the 15th. So that's fun. Oh, look at that. Tomorrow is a day. Interesting. Oh, September. O2 Cygni. Okay, there's not even any satellites right now. It's very quiet, very still. Not a lot going on. And yet there are still 9 people watching me doing absolutely nothing and talking about nothing. It warms my heart. Fills me with pride. Actually, I need to work on my next video tonight. I got the script for it all written. I just need to actually put it together. Or I need to record it, like the voice work, and then put it together. I'm talking about why alcohol makes you pee a lot more. It's a surprisingly interesting topic, but I like talking about physiology and don't get to very often. Yeah, I should do more like medically physiology-based videos. I do a lot of space and physics, but it's like, man, I love biology and medical. I need to do more of that. On top of the others, like I'm not gonna stop doing physics and space. I mean, I've been doing space engine videos for like 9 years now, so it's not like I tend to stop. Can't stop, won't stop. Cool video. It is, trust me. It should be short. I try to keep videos down to like 5 minutes or under, unless it's a very complex topic. And this one, I could easily make it an hour, because talking about how the endocrine system behaves is fascinating, but very complicated. And it's like, even when I talk about the kidneys, and I mentioned the nephrons in the kidneys that are like the functional units of the kidney, and it's like they're made up of a ton of little structures too I can get into and how they work. But it's like, no, be concise. So it's like just nephrons. Don't go too much detail into that. Because the video's already a lot of technobabble. Not like, yeah, like medical technobabble, and it's like, I have to make sure this is a little easier to understand. but I got to use fun words like osmolality and vasopressin and nephron and homeostasis. Words that I love saying but don't get to use very often, and it's like, oh. The North America Nebula. Oh no. I wonder if there's been mild upticks here. I should have been paying more attention. Yeah, the endocrine system's cool. It's the like hormone and chemical information center or like system. So it's like it's how your body regulates a lot of stuff. And your hypothalamus is kind of the bridging point between your your nervous system and your endocrine system. It kind of keeps everybody like on track. But it frequently messes up, as all systems do. I haven't seen a satellite in a while. What's this? The Fetus Nebula. Yeah, high school for me was 11 or 12 years ago. That was a while ago. I graduated in 2011, so. Teacher? Yeah, we've all had teachers that weren't very good at their job. I had a math teacher like that. Or my mechanics teacher. He was quite the character. He would just like... he wouldn't actually read any of the work we handed in. It's like we have these like things where it's like you have to fill out this work and then hand it in by the end of the semester. And I would just like write random words in it or draw pictures and hand it in and still get top marks. And it's like, alright, cool. And then spend the rest of the class underneath a truck with my friend talking about nothing while pretending to work. Got top marks. Actually, looking at this here, at the IF average, I am seeing a bit more of a... I'll have to go back and look at this video afterwards to see, because it looks like we're getting a bit more of a hump here, as opposed to what it used to be. It just looks like it's trying to. So, even with this really crappy setup, it looks like we're getting some more like signals from the galaxy, the hydrogen like the hydrogen in the galaxy. With the actual telescope, it would be a lot more like pronounced, but I keep looking at it and it looks like this line, especially right here, around 1420, looks like it's popped up above 71, like a pixel. So I'm actually going to look back over the footage after I finish the stream and see where this little area is before the stream, or like when I first started, and at the end. And, because I want to see if we are actually picking up more signals from the galaxy, which is fairly overhead right now. Like, I'm not looking directly at zenith. This is a very nondescript setup I have. So, if that is the case, then this will be a lot more successful than I thought it would be. Oh, we have an iridium satellite and an iridium satellite. No, I love space. I love astrobiology, anatomy. I'm actually not sure what I'm gonna do after my bachelor's, because like I started taking my bachelor's after high school, and had to stop a year after that because of life reasons, and money reasons. And I've kind of started getting back into it, like picking away at it piece by piece, and I started getting back into it now. So I'm back at working on my bachelor's again. And afterwards, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. Like, I originally wanted to do astrobiology, but I'm not sure anymore. I might actually try med school, uh, or do astrobiology and then med school, because life is long enough that I can have multiple degrees. But I'm unsure. We'll see. Mandatory shop class. Welding was a part of the curriculum. Didn't know how to weld. Yeah, I had shop in junior high. I mean, I learned how to weld, and I broke the welder, and I just didn't say anything, and I blamed it on somebody else. Because, like, me and one other person learned to weld in my class, and I was using it, and the filament broke off inside the welder, and I was like, alright, so I went and told the teacher, and I was like, oh yeah, the welder, I just found it like this, the wire's broken off in it. And he went, oh, I'll have to go get it fixed then. So he sent out to get it fixed. And they never found out it was me. Kind of like in mechanics, I almost killed us all by accident, because I was using the acetylene torch, and I moved the torch kind of to the side, and it burned over the hose connecting to the acetylene and the oxygen tanks, and it burned it just a little bit, and left like a charred mark on it. And these are rubber hoses, mind you, and this is a torch that can cut metal, and I was just like, ooh, that's not good. So I kind of just pretend that it didn't happen. And then at the end of the class, the teacher came out and was like, I just wanted to say that I noticed a burn mark on the acetylene torch, and that's not good. I want you guys to be extra careful next time. I don't know who did this, but just be extra careful next time. And I was like, yeah. Once again, they never found out it was me. I was a bit of a liability in high school. I don't know. I just was having a good time. There's actually a series of videos I want to do where it's just called Story Time, where I just talk about times where just interesting things that happened, or I have somebody else tell an interesting funny story. And the videos I want to do with them, first off, are times that I almost killed myself just playing around with science and engineering and stuff, because that happened quite frequently, and some of them are kind of funny. So hopefully I'll get those done at some point, because I've recorded them a few times, but the recordings always sound terrible. I need to just like really fix it up and figure out what the background's going to be on that. I might have to do animations, but I don't know. Yeah, I swear that there's like increase here, even by just a pixel, but I can't. Dangerous tools in chemistry sound fun. Oh, you know it. You know it. Why is this happening? Go away. I remember one time in high school chemistry, we were doing, I forgot what we were doing. I wasn't paying attention as usual. And somebody spilt like some hydrochloric acid on my hand. It was a dilute solution, but I was like, that's not good. So I went over to the sink to rinse it off, but everyone was crowded around the sink, washing whatever they were washing. So I just sat there. I'm like, all right, cool. And I noticed that my hand started, like a little blotch on it, started turning red. And I was like, yeah, I need to get through, guys. And they all ignored me. I was like, fine. So I was in there, and it just kind of became a welt. And then I finally was able to wash it off. And I had this welt on my... It wasn't serious. It was like a mild welt on my hand about the size of a coin. And I was like, this could have been avoided if you guys let me wash my hands in the sink. But I guess not. Dangers, yeah. Participatory science. I mean, when I was a kid, I would just do stuff. Like I would take apart light bulbs and harvest the tungsten filaments to make my own light bulbs or circuits out of them. This when I was like 9, I would do that. I don't know why, I just did. It was fun. I tried doing metalworking at one point in the fire pit using like bits of metal. What was it? It was like scraps of steel, like thin little like wires and stuff. Oh yeah, knocking over flasks is just what you do in that in high school chemistry. Breaking glassware, yeah. Oh, how many thermometers broke in those classes. Or in biology, we did like, we did grass frog dissections one time. And my lab partner was away that week, so it was just me. And I was like, cool. And most of the people in the class were uncomfortable with the idea and were like begrudgingly doing it but uncomfortable. And I was like, this is great. So I was doing my damnedest best job. And I discovered that that my grass frog had eaten a mouse a couple hours before being preserved. And that freaked out a lot of people in the class, and I thought it was cool. But it was interesting. And then we were going to do heart dissections, but there weren't enough for the class, so he basically was like, all right, we need some volunteers. We come up, and you can do like 2 people doing a heart dissection with the lab camera projecting onto the screen. And I was like, oh, hell yeah, I'll do it. So I'm up there, and I'm having a great old time carving up this heart like a roast and showing I was like, it's like as the teacher was talking, and I was just playing around with one of the tricuspid valves, and I was trying to like reconstruct it because the heart was pretty butchered from where it was got, and I wasn't really paying attention to what that everyone else could see what I was doing. So I'm reconstructing this tricuspid valve and kind of like trying to like make it operate by tugging on the the tendons and stuff in it. And the people were watching this, and a few of them were like, they were like saying, it's like, can you please stop doing that? I'm like, what? And I was like, oh right, everyone sees that I'm trying to make this heart like function. And it was great fun. It's like it was just I was just making the tricuspid valve move, and that was freaking people out. It's like, oh come on guys, it's biology. I think that was like a pig's heart too, so it was very similar to a human's. Yeah, I love anatomy and biology and physiology. Don't think I'd be a surgeon though. That's a lot of work. And also a lot of pressure, honestly. Alright, where is Vega? Vega is right up there. Galaxy is moving in. NGC 7086. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of really fun things you can do, and I have a lot of other friends too who could, like, I could bring in on this, and also have funny stories. So it's just like it's a good idea. I need to actually make those videos, but I keep getting distracted with other things. But they're happening. They're happening. At some point. But it is now 11, so I think I'm gonna wrap up this stream there. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Those of you who joined in, and if you're watching this after the fact, that's impressive because this is a very boring stream. But the interactivity is always fun. So I'm glad you all here and had fun and enjoyed it. It's always great. Oh. And I accidentally disconnected the radio or the radio thing by accident. So that is now dead. I'll fix that later. So thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I will be back. I should probably do more streams at some point, but until then, it's been fun.